Hey friends, it's Tasha with Stardust Gold Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to do color changes mid-row using Mosaic Crochet, and I just did a little sample heart chart because it's Valentine's Day and I love Valentine's Day. It's my favorite time of year, and I actually did this design 2 years ago and still haven't released it, and then I did this design and still haven't released it. So in the next couple weeks I'm going to be working on these and hopefully try to get them out. But this one I love so much, and it's so cute, and I fashioned it after a little doll that I got, but it's a little crochet gnome kind of amigurumi, and it has a weighted bottom on it, so it's like it'll stay up and it's weighted. Super cute. Let's get to this tutorial. I'm going to clean my lens though because it feels like it's a little bit dirty. Okay, so I'm using two colors. This Create yarn, Create by Yarnsmiths, and I used that in the cottagecore blanket, and I went ahead and got a bunch of colors because I thought it was really cute. Okay, so we're going to start off. If you're not familiar with Mosaic Crochet, you can go to my Mosaic Crochet tutorial. It's a brand new tutorial. It's on my YouTube channel here, and it's also in my course for Absolute Beginner Mosaic Crochet on my in the Infinite Yarniverse, and I'll put the links around here so you can see them. But if you're not familiar with Mosaic, Mosaic is working drop down double crochets, and the X's represent the drop down double crochets, or also known as front loop only double crochets, and you're working it into the stitches that are two below. So if I'm on row 3, then I'm going to work that drop down into the front loop only of row 1. So right there. And then the ones that are blank, you're doing back loop only single crochets. But normally in a Mosaic Crochet pattern, you use two colors, and the two colors are brought up at the front, and you use two colors to go across. And by the way, this pattern is releasing in March, part of a year-long crochet along. Oh, it looks like it got hair all over it. This is part of a year-long crochet along hosted by LME Designs. And this section will be released in March, and I'm super excited about it. Or April. I think I took April. So this one will be released in April, but this is a traditional Mosaic Crochet using two colors, and you're not switching colors mid-row or doing anything like that. Each row is a different color normally. So what you're going to do is, just like every other color changes, you're going to switch the color right when you get to the color you need. So here I'm working all these double crochets, and then I'm going to switch to pink, and then I'm going to switch back to brown and finish out. So it's just like any other color change. You just want to be aware, if you're just working off of a chart, that if you see 3 right here, you're going to need to change colors right there, so that when you drop down, it'll be dropping down into the same color that you're working with. So let's go ahead and start this. I'm going to use, now this is a chart that's 20 wide, so I'm going to do a foundation single crochet of 20 wide, and this is how I do my foundation single crochets. This is a 4mm hook I'm using. For a foundation single crochet, you're going to chain 2, work into the very first chain, yarn over and pull up, then yarn over and pull through the very first one, then yarn over and pull through both. Then you're going to go through those bottom 2 loops, and you're going to yarn over and pull up through 1, then yarn over and pull through again, and yarn over and pull through 2. So you just did 2 foundation single crochets, and then you just keep going along. And I usually hold those bottom 2 loops so I don't lose them. After I do that first chain, then I hold those bottom 2 loops and pull through. So that's 3, and I'm going to keep doing this until we get to 20. Okay, so I think I have my 20 here. Let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So with Mosaic and doing the foundation chains, you only have to do as many as your chart calls for. So if I were doing this with a regular chain and working a single crochet back through, then you would need to add an extra 1 for your turning one, and then work your single crochets back through. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. And make sure that when you get to the end, you're going to chain 1. I should have done that before I cut it. chain one, and then tie it off. So now we have our row one, which is our first row down here of plain foundation row. The next one, since my color in the chart is brown, I'm just going to go ahead and use the brown for that next one instead of switching colors like I normally do for Mosaic. There's no need to switch colors if you have a solid background like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a beginning stitch. Oh, I forgot to do my beginning stitches. Row, well, we're just going to do it like this and wing it. So what you're doing is you're attaching your yarn in the very first stitch, you're chaining one and then inserting your hook into that same stitch and doing a single crochet. Then we're going to work a single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch going across. And the back loop is just that. You just work through the back loop. And we're going to do one in each of the 20 stitches going across. And when you get to the very last stitch, you're going to want to kind of open that stitch up, go through the center of it, and then do a single crochet, a chain one, and then cut your yarn just like normal mosaic crochet. Pull it through. And our next row is also going to be another brown one. So I'm going to pick up the brown, but I'm going to carry the pink because the pink is being used for these two stitches. So we're going to use both yarns. Now, this is one thing. You can, if you don't want to carry through, you can just add the yarn right here and just kind of work it up like a bobbin, like in other things. But if you want the tails to have the little pink in it for this section, then you can carry both of them and it will have pink tails, which would be really cute, especially on a blanket or something like that. So for this tutorial, I'm going to carry both yarns. I'm going to anchor the first stitch with both. I'm going to carry both of them in my fingers, and I just kind of hold mine like that. I'm going to do the same thing before where it's kind of hard to see with this yarn, but I'm going to open up this single crochet stitch, the beginning stitch, and go through the center of it, add my two yarns. I'm going to pull through, I'm going to drop those tails, chain one, and then I'm going to work a single crochet through that same stitch, the middle stitch, for that first. Now I'm going to drop the pink, and we're working for this row, we're going to be working drop down double crochets, and then we're going to work 2 single crochet back loop only with the pink, and then drop down double crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drop down double crochets. But because I forgot to do the beginning stitch, I'm going to just say we're going to do 8 since we did our first stitch with a single crochet. So you're going to hold the pink behind your yarn. We're going to do an anchor stitch, and the anchor stitch is going to help hide the tails. So I'm going to hold that pink yarn and go through the back loop only of the stitch. Then I'm going to grab the brown, pull it up, and then I'm going to yarn over and go down into the front loop only of the stitch below. Yarn over and pull through once. That should leave quite a few on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through the rest. So that will give us our first drop down double crochet. Now I'm going to do the same, then yarn over, go down and drop down to the front loop only of the stitch 2 rows down, yarn over and pull through 1 and have 4, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And we're going to keep doing that where you back loop only, make sure you're enclosing your pink yarn, pull up, yarn over, drop down. Sometimes it's hard to see the drop down to find the stitches, but they're there. And we're yarning over and pulling through 1. Oops. They got caught up there. Then yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 3. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I reach the pink. There are other ways to anchor, and I have those different ways in other videos that I did. You can always go look at those other videos. But there are several different ways to anchor. I found I liked this one the best because it thickens the stitches, which makes it really nice for blankets and hiding the holes that can be created by doing mosaic crochet. So there I have 4. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so now I have the 9 stitches. I'm including the very first single crochet in that stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're going to switch because we have 2 blue colors coming up. So I'm going to pull up the pink and do my 2 back loop onlys while I'm carrying the brown through, and then I'm going to so the way to do that, and you can see back here we've carried it. We're going to pull that a little bit tight, not too tight. I usually pull it tight and then I usually loosen it up just a little bit. So I'm going to drop this to the front for now, pull up my pink yarn, and finish the last loop of my stitch with the pink yarn. And now we're just going to put that brown back behind it, and we're going to go through the back loop only and do a single crochet. And we all know from regular color changes that you're going to finish out the last part of your stitch with the new color. So the next single crochet we're going to start it out, then we're going to drop the pink, bring back up the brown, and yarn over and pull through our pink. And then we're going to tighten that up just a little bit and then start working our brown stitches again. And when you drop down for these, since you went up these 2, you want to make sure you're just counting 1, 2, 3 over down there so that you don't mess up the flow of it, so to speak. So you're skipping 2 of those loops down below and doing it into the 3rd loop. So there we have it. That's how you switch colors mid-row with Mosaic Crochet, but we're going to keep going. It's the same as all the other crochet design. It's just a little bit different when you're anchoring stitches, but for the most part, it's the exact same as regular color changes. Okay, so there we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to do our last stitch, single crochet, and I'm going to use both yarns for this one because we used both at the beginning. We're going to go and pull that single crochet slightly open with, and then pull through, and I'm going to finish out single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to take it and cut both yarns, and then pull through. So you see, then you have the pink tails on either side, and also we've changed colors there. So the next row is all back loop only single crochet, and because these 2 drop downs here right above our next row will be hiding that row, you can just use brown for that entire row. So I'm going to pull up the brown, and we're going to do back loop only single crochet through the entire thing. Just like before, I'm going to open up that single crochet stitch at the beginning, and then I'm going to add my yarn, pull through, drop the tail, chain 1, and do a single crochet through that same space. And we're just doing back loop only single crochets, so I'm going to work through the back loop only of each stitch across. And so you'll see, even though there's brown here, when we do our next stitch, it's going to drop down into these front loops right there and cover up the brown that we just did. That's why overlay mosaic crochet is so much fun. So now we got to the end, and I'm going to do the same thing on the end and go through the center, chain 1, and cut my yarn. pull through. Now our next one is going to be a pink row, pink and brown, just like we did before. We're going to be working this one here. So we're starting off with brown, switching to pink, and then going to brown again. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And like before, I'm going to use both because I want to stay consistent. So I've got both tails, pulling up my project, and we're going to go into that first. Add our yarn, pull through, chain 1, and then work our single crochet. And now I'm going to drop the pink, pull up the brown, and carry the pink through. So I'm going to go through the back. Don't know if I like this method necessarily because it seems like the pink yarn or the pink is what came through right there. I'm going to try to go behind it and see if I can't grab the front loop of the brown. So now we're going to carry and work across just like we did before until we get to the point where we need to bring up our pink and start working our pink stitches. So there we have, let's see how many we have. Looks like I did an okay job of hiding that pink one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need 7, and I started off with this first one, so that's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and now we're going to bring up the first one. So I completed the stitch. I'm just going to go back through, take that out, and then bring up my pink. And if you want to make sure you're in the right spot, you can count how many squares you have. So you have 2 squares of BLO single crochet, and then drop downs, 2 drop downs, and 2 regular. So I have 2 stitches left. 1, 2, yeah. So I'm in the right spot, just to make sure I'm in the right spot. I'm going to carry over that. And then our next 2 stitches are back loop only single crochet. So I'm going to do those and then carry the brown inside the stitches. And now I'm doing a drop down. So I'm going to do what I did before, yarn over, put it into the pink front loop, and then complete my drop down double crochet. Same for the next one. We're going to do a drop down. Oops, I think I just grabbed some of that. And now we have 2 more drop down double crochets. 2 more back loop only single crochets. And remember that we're going to switch right after this one. So we're going to drop the pink, pull up the brown, and pull through. And then we're going to start completing our front loop only double crochets in brown and finish out the row. Oh, got a little bit of yarn barf there. So now I'm going to use both again since we're at the end stitch, and I'm going to go through and finish out our last stitch with a single crochet, chain 1, and then cut both of these tails and pull through. So that is the beginning of our heart pattern, and you can see that it's going to turn out great. I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then I'm going to come back and show you the finished product. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. But this is how you change colors mid-row when you're working with 2 colors in a mosaic crochet pattern, or 2 or more colors, I should say. When you're working with 2 or more colors, then this is what you're going to do when you're changing colors mid-row. You're just going to make sure that you look down your pattern and you look to see what colors are going to be coming up, and then you would add those colors to the end, or like I said before, you can actually pull your colors up when you get this and kind of use it like a blocking system where you have a bobbin and then you're blocking it instead of instead of bringing it all the way through. And let me show you an example of that. Okay, here's an example. I'm working on a different version of the cottagecore blanket, which if some of you are familiar with the cottagecore blanket, it's a Mosaic Crochet blanket tutorial or crochet along that I did back in November. And so what I wanted to do with this blanket was I wanted to create the leaves of the second strip in different colors. And I really didn't want to carry all of those colors throughout because as you can see, there's probably 5 different colors I use. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, yeah, a darker brown, 5. So what I did was instead of carrying all of those through, I just worked with the white or the cream color. And then when I needed it, I brought it up. There's a lot of tails that I'm going to need to weave in, but I have a plan for this. So instead of that, I'm actually going to put a backing on it and tie the tails and do something like that. So I'm going to put a backing on it and then do a quilting through it, to sew the backing to the front. And that I think would be really cute for this, but that's what I did for these to bring up the colors. So instead of actually carrying through the yarn, I just brought it up and then kept my colors where I wanted them, which of course creates a big, huge mess, right? We know this. This is what the back looks like. Kind of scary, huh? For all those people that don't like tails. But you know what? We are crafters, we are artists, and we do the things. We do the things to make the front side look beautiful. Yay. Okay, so I finished it, but I lost my beautiful daylight. This is the finished product. I steamed it, steam blocked it, cut the edges so that they looked nice and neat. And I think I'm going to use this as a mug rug because I think it's so cute. I think it'll look great for mug rugs. And I'm a tea drinker, so this is my tea, which is mostly drunk, but I think it'll fit perfect for a little mug rug. It's not made of cotton. I didn't make this of cotton, but I still think just for the fact of having a little mug rug, it'll be cute. All right, you guys, do all the things, like, comment, share. And if you like this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel. And I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Also, if I have different levels in my crochet club, if you want to help support my business, you can go over there to the Infinite Yarniverse and I'll put a link and you can see all the club different levels. There's a support level, there's the actual Colorwork club, and then there's tons of other things, and it's all in the Infinite Yarniverse. Happy crocheting, friends. Bye.